Alrighty, Aphrodites. We are going to start in, let's come to the middle of your mat, and we're going to start in butterfly pose. So bring the bottoms of your feet together, let your knees fall out to the sides. A good check is if you struggle to stack your shoulders over your hips, just sit on a bunch of books or pillows or something. Grab onto your shins, lift up your chest, really reach your chest high, drop your head back, take a full inhale. And with your exhale, bring your chin to your chest and start to roll down, letting your head drop to your feet. Beautiful. And just sigh out your next exhale. You can even do a couple more if that makes sense for your body this morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. So take a couple of breaths to let your whole body get a little heavy in this shape. And notice what you've brought with you onto your yoga mat this morning. Maybe you feel some sensations in your body. You've been sitting in a chair and writing too much, or lifting too many weights, or some other thing. Or maybe you're noticing your heart this morning. Or maybe you woke up with a racing mind. And whether the sensations or the feelings or their thoughts are, good or bad, take a couple moments and acknowledge that they are also worthy of your attention and part of your whole completeness this morning. Notice if you can relax your tongue a little bit more. Let your jaw be soft. Infinite stars, infinite space, source of the knowledge of the worlds, giver of thoughts that empower creation, transforming light into the elements of matter. Radiate before my mind the 7 keys that unlock the the doors of the mystery temple, that I may enter and fulfill the purpose for which my birth initiates. And with your next inhale, roll up, and your legs and your lower body are going to stay the same, and just come back onto your elbows. Maybe you didn't start in the middle and you want to scoot forward a bit. That's fine, but the basic shape stays the same. And now drop your head back. You can even wiggle your elbows a little closer together to let your chest pop up. And we're going to hang our head here, but not for the whole pose. So if it gets too uncomfortable, you're welcome to bring your chin to your chest. But just notice if you can hang out there for a little bit, letting the weight of your skull massage your trapezius muscles here. So when we start our practice with that opening verse, written down by Orland Bishop. We are trying to remember this really big and cosmic context in which even our small individual lives play a vital part. When we approach the world in a quantitative fashion, it's very easy to allow the math to kind of make you small and insignificant. Slide your elbows out to the side. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Now, that math is correct. You're one of very, 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 very many people. However, no individual is born as insignificant. No life as insignificant. I heard this great line, which is, what other people think of you is none of your business. Which in some ways is true, and we can argue in other ways, of course. But what you think of you plays such vital consequence for how you live into your own life. And even if we can't see the mysteries of how we are each a vital component, if we haven't, found that clear, articulated mission, or if we sit in judgment and pretend like our mission isn't so important, it not only becomes a disservice to you, absolutely, obviously, but oddly enough, it's more of a disservice to all the other billions of people in this world. And you'll notice in your own biography, the more courageously and clearly you are yourself, that often this can ignite and empower other people to be themselves. So with this reminder of our cosmic context, we want to practice as we wake up in the day, as we wake up in ourselves, remembering this context, and whether it's a search or you're already online on your mission, everyone needs reminding and support, kind of fuel that you're not alone in this mission of being yourself. So lift up your feet, spy that magical pointy oval shape, stretch your arms up to the sky, and as a little rebirth posture, you're going to try to dive through and sit yourself up. Beautiful. And then cross your legs more. So you bring either leg in front in easy pose, or if you'd like, you come into half lotus or full lotus. And you're gonna take your right hand and slide it out to the right, and then drape your left arm up over your head. Let your right elbow be heavy. So we do several different variations. You can even kind of like wrap it around your head. And if it's too irritating for your top arm, you can even relax your left arm down and still feel that there's a stretch along your side body and your muscles here, your intercostal muscles, your rib muscles. So feel your breath move into this new shape. And I find it so cool that each one of us has like a very different mission in life. But for each one of us, it's kind of like tailor-made to fit into our life, just at that point where we know we need courage. We need to have this daringness. As Rumi puts it, this this willingness to pursue and follow, let the draw of what we love guide us forward, that will never lead us astray. Now from here, you can take a nice, lovely sweep and sweep your left hand all the way over to the side, let your right arm follow and lift up into the other side. It's a very dancery little nice soft move. And you can add the pinup girl version or guy version here if you'd like to just put your hand behind your head instead of stretching your arm all the way. Feel what works for you. I mean, clearly, obviously, the pinup works for all of y'all. But if it's a nicer pull with your whole arm extended, enjoy that. This quest of, entering the doors of the mystery temple, we can find it in ourselves, this door. And it's really, I love the phrasing of it. Another teacher, Dennis Klocek, sorry, butchering his name, but he talks about in your life, it's often those moments where you step into the fog in the direction where it's most unclear for you that actually you meet like the potency of your destiny. That it's not following the path that you've been thinking about necessarily your whole life. It might be, but often actually it's this spot in your life that takes courage and kind of listening to this unreasonable request to step into the fog rather than this very reasonable and logical thing to just go with what you're good at. Take another full breath. And then on your inhale, lift yourself up, maybe less dancery. And then just start to swing your arms around, making sure you don't have any bookshelves close by or not going to slap anything. And you can feel how your floppiness of your arms like twists your body a little bit more. And then you're going to bring your hands to your shoulders and you're going to keep twisting a couple of times. Allow your breath to move. Allow your head to move. And then settle back to center. And with your inhale, you're going to try to touch your elbows in front of you. Most likely you can do that. I know it looks like awkward duck move. And then inhale, reach your arms back. Try to touch them behind you and then bring them back together. And just make these nice big, I don't know for you, but for me, they're like crackly, crunchy circles where they're like fixation in my shoulders and my joints. Kind of clicks and makes noises. And then shake your arms out. And then stretch your legs out in front of you. So you might have noticed that we were doing a little bit of the Pawa Muktasana here. So our yin softened into these little, basically joint movements. So with your legs stretched long, just see if you can wiggle your toes here. And you're going to be tempted to like point and flex and like bring yourself back to like early dance classes or something. But actually just moving your toes is quite hard and it takes concentration. Beautiful. And then point and flex your feet. And again, you might find you've got like the snap, crackle, pop as your little bones in your feet release fixation. And then start to circle your feet to one direction. Let your heart lift up. And then circle your feet in the other direction. And then take your feet in opposite circles. Whoa. Lift your heart. And then, of course, then the opposite circles. And you can feel the warmth starting in your toes a little bit, huh? All right. Now, I like to bend in my other leg. It just makes it more comfortable for me. So bend your left leg and hold on to the bottom of your right thigh. Now, just notice that I could hold my leg like that. But when I have my hands here, I actually want to be holding my leg with my arm. So you can like shake it and like wobble it. Very good. All right. And now with your inhale, stretch your leg long. And with your exhale, try to pull your heel to your buttocks, even though your hand's there. I know it seems counterintuitive. Inhale, stretch your leg long. And we're going for about 10-ish. We want to not be so fixated on the exact number, which for some of us is wicked hard. Let's do 2 more. And now let's just do the exact same thing on the other leg. Since you didn't count, that's going to be a little harder, isn't it? So hold on to the back of your thigh, shake it around. And actually the precise number isn't so important, but ish. So feel that you've got the wobble, it's your arms holding it. And then with your inhale, stretch your leg high, exhale, pull your heel to your buttocks. And about 9 more. Keep your chest lifting up. For a lot of us, that's where we have to constantly remind ourselves, keeping an open heart is our work. It's nobody else's work. It's just yours. Painful, huh? Because other people make it really hard, don't they? The question, know where you are in your spiritual path. Either ask your partner or go home and spend time with your parents. All right, I think 1 more. And then just shake out your legs. Woo. And then we'll come back to where we were with the bottoms of your feet together. And now this time you can pull your heels as close to your groin as you can, and just throw your knees down a couple times. It's a little bit like throwing down the gauntlet, your glove. Starting our mission, getting ready to ride our horses. For 3, 2, 1. Whew. Stretch your legs out. They should feel nice and warm. And we already did a lot of the upper body stuff, but just to round it out, we're just going to do some finger and wrist things. So make your hands, stretch your arms out in fists, and then shoot your fingers out like, pa-da! Yes, go gadget nails. And then wrap your thumbs and make circles with your wrists. It's like practicing being a hangman here somehow. All right, and then circle the other way, of course. And then my all-time favorite, relax your hands, shake them out, is do your fake weightlifting poses. Oh yeah, I'm such a tough girl. Watch this. Slow it down. Now notice how much what you think matters. Pretend like you have a really heavy weight in each hand and you really pull it in. And then now pretend it's like nothing. Oh my gosh, yeah. So you can really kind of fake resistance. And we do this all the time in our body. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! All right. Now to tie it all together, you're going to come up and you're going to lift up your heels, and you want to keep your buttocks close to your heels. Yeah. Now, for some of us, this, is going to be enough work to just walk, keeping our heels as close to our buttocks as possible. If you've been doing this for a couple of years, you might actually, so walk like around your mat. You might actually take your hands to your shoulders, so you have like the wings. This is called duck walking. And then you might even drop your knee down. Yeah. And then walk to the top of your mat and then walk to the back of your mat. And just notice what you're willing to do if somebody asks you. Just notice that. And then lie down. And we're going to do a mini shavasana here. It's not going to be a way long one. I just want you to feel in your body the heat and energy that you've created by allowing these movements to move through your joint system. And I love that it culminates in a duck walk. And while you lie here, I have to tell you, the other night I had this strange experience. I was out sitting on my porch. I was trying to make a phone call. And the sun had set, and it was pretty dark. It was like right at the edge where like you can't see, but you can see a little bit. And I could see in my garden, there was this thing kind of walking over the field and into the garden and towards the tree that's right in front of my porch. And I realized it was a duck. And it was this, and I was like, oh no, like, why is this duck walking around? Is it hurt? Can it not fly? And I made up this whole story, and I was like, wow, what do you do with an injured duck? What am I supposed to do here? What's the nice, humane thing? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, let's just see what he does next. And like in the next 3 minutes, he was just kind of waddling around, and I was like, oh goodness, what am I gonna do? And then all of a sudden, he just flew away. Like there was no injury. And I realized how much I'd been making up about the story of the duck. But this is the kind of thing we do all day long. We make up and ascribe the interiority to things that we don't know. Now, hug your knees to your chest, and we're going to do one more weird thing, not so weird. We're going to rock and roll, and we're going to come into Sphinx, and we're going to do the Sphinx pose before we go into our vinyasa. Let your elbows be slightly in front of your shoulders. Let your hips be heavy on the yoga mat. Doing a little bit like tempering a sword. Doing the cool, warm, cool, or wicked cold, really hot, back and forth. Feel free to do a couple neck rolls here. You can pause in the places that feel a little bit more. You can also pause with your chin down towards your chest, really stretching the back of your neck. Notice where you can let go enough to actually feel the pull of gravity on your body. So one of the arts of, when we encounter the unknown, or one of the practices you could say, is not to throw all of our fears in that lovely void, in that empty space. So often, when we're confronted with a situation we don't understand, with motivations we don't understand, we can really easily slip into putting all of our fears into those places. Like when we don't know what will happen, but we fear this will happen, we fear that will happen, fear this will happen. The other thing that we do that is equally kind of handicapping is we take the really small amount of information we have and we judge it, and we kind of try to put it in a little box, or put it into like, oh, that belongs on that side, or it belongs on that side. As if then that complex mystery is sorted and dealt with. So it's actually a rebel practice to be comfortable with the unknown. And then maybe more radically being comfortable with like people doing the wrong thing by your judgment. Be comfortable with what like you judge not cool. And I think this is such a vital step for us. Especially in a world right now where it's so easy to be like, oh, whether it's like you're pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, or you're pro, Trump or anti-Trump, or pro-immigration, anti-immigration, all of these different things. It's really easy to be like, oh, well, then we'll put you over there in that category. And that doesn't get us anywhere. There's nothing novel about that situation. There's nothing new. With your next inhale, lower your body to the mat and just reach back with your hips to child's pose. You can wiggle your way to child's pose to feel a release in your lower back. I think nearly all of us right now must be encountering this conflict of having people that we love and care about wanting to make different choices than we want to make for ourselves. And how do we advocate for a world where it's possible to make radically different choices without them being divisive? And what does that have to do with you being yourself? With your next inhale, Lift up into tabletop. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips, and then just start to make some circles. And then start to let the circles get bigger. And then start to, when at the biggest point, start to make your circles go the opposite direction, and then let them get smaller again. And then find your way back to tabletop. And you're gonna stretch your right leg out and just pulse a couple times with your right heel, and then bring your right foot down to the ground. So you're lining up your left toes with the arch of your right foot. You have your left hand underneath your shoulder, and you can stretch your right arm up to the sky in supported side plank. If you want, you can go a little bit further and lift up your right leg, flexing your foot, peeking in front of your body, maybe to see your toes. And then stretch your palm, your right hand down to stretch your arm over your ear. Sorry, that was my bad. So we're still on the side here. And then with your exhale, bend your elbow and knee and tap them together. Inhale, get long. Exhale, tap it in. Inhale, get long. Exhale, tap it in. Inhale, get long. Exhale, tap it in. Now this time, lengthen one more time and reach back behind you and grab onto your ankle. Look up and let your hips kind of move a little bit forward as you kick your foot back. Beautiful. And then release your right foot to the ground again. And before we move to the other side, you're going to do this little power move. So your right arm is lifting up, your right foot's on the ground, and then lift up your left knee. It's kind of a rock star move. Ta-da! Beautiful. And then bring your hands down, bring your knees down, and just wiggle. Like the sassy cow, let your left shoulder come to your left hip, your right shoulder come to your right hip. Couple more times. Oh, you're a natural, Nola. I love it. And then come back to center. Stretch your left leg back, pulse a couple times. Feeling that pulse really open up your calf. And then spin your heel to the ground and stretch your left arm up to the sky. Maybe you want to lift up your left leg, or maybe you don't want to, but you're going to do it anyways. Or maybe just hang out where we were. And then stretch your left arm over your ear, palm facing the ground. Take another full inhale as you get long. With your exhale, tap your elbow and knee together. Inhale, get long. Exhale, tap again. Inhale, long. Exhale, tap. I think we did one more. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, tap it in. And now lengthen one more time and reach back with your top arm and hold onto your foot. You can feel that when you kick your foot into your hand, you then have, that creates a resistance that you can push your hips a little bit more forward from. Gorgeous. And then reach your arm up, place your foot down, and then we're going to do this little rock star move. So you're going to lift up your right knee. Oh yeah, that's even nicer if you want to stretch it out in front of you. That's a little rock star plus move. Thank you, Sabine. And then come back down onto your hands and knees, and inhale, lift your head, your heart, and your hips into cow pose. And with your exhale, float your cat, lifting your knees, pulling your belly up, looking at your belly button. Inhale, you feel free to float your cow if you want a little extra, or put your knees down. And then with your exhale, float your cat. Una más. One more time. Inhale, open up the front of your body. Exhale, open up the back of your body. And then inhale, do whatever you want. And with your exhale, reach back to downward facing dog. Whew. So you can feel already, even though you've been very much connected to the ground, you haven't done anything super complicated. I imagine you're already feeling a little bit warm. Maybe you're glowing. Let your knees soften and bend a little so your hips can reach up and back. Take a full breath in. Empty your breath all the way out. Keeping your breath out, look in between your hands or a little bit beyond, and then float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, reach your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop, your back curve. Push down with your feet and roll up one vertebrae at a time, stretch up tall. And then exhale, Samastitihi, bringing your hands to heart center. Release your hands at the end of your breath. Inhale, stretch your arms up over your head. Be willing to let the room get hot even. Exhale, bow down, softening your knees, rolling down, looking at your belly button eventually. Inhale, halfway lift. Your gaze goes straight forward so your chin's a little bit lifted away from your chest. And then your upper body stays the same. Plant your hands on the ground and step back to plank. So let's breathe here for a moment or two to really get our fire going. See how much you can get every muscle involved in your body to help you here. You're a team player, so you kind of have to like corral the different parts of you together. And then with your next inhale, get longer. With your exhale, come through chaturanga all the way down to the ground, looking forward, and then release to the ground, stretching your toes, and inhale, low cobra. And with your exhale, bring yourself down to the mat. Take your hands as wide as the yoga mat. Inhale, lift up, Diva Cobra. And then with your exhale, lower down. And then inhale, lift up, Diva Cobra. And then you're going to exhale, you're going to drop your right shoulder down to the ground. Inhale up to center. Exhale, drop your left shoulder down. So it's dancing Diva Cobra. Inhale up. And then with your exhale, come down to the mat. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Pull your abdominals up to your spine and listen for it. Inhale, lift up, plank. Oh, yeah. Exhale, downward facing dog. So that should have gotten a little bit more fire even in you. Take a couple moments in downward facing dog, feeling the evenness of the pose. Your hands are pushing down and forward. Your heels are reaching down and back. Feel your hips pulling up towards the sky. Take another full inhale, empty your breath all the way, and then walk or float your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach your chest forward and your chin away from your chest. Exhale, release and bow down. Let your head drop. Root down and roll up. Stretch up tall. And with your exhale, bring yourself back to center, Samastitihi. And at the end of your exhale, release your hands down to mountain pose. Inhale, stretch your arms up like you're gathering energy around you. Exhale, roll down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, active, chin away from your chest, and then step back to plank. And let's breathe here again. Oh, yeah. Now, instead of being rock still here, I want you to find a little pulse. So you're moving your heels backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So it's a little micro movement, keeping your chin away from your chest. Like for me, I really feel like a crocodile in this pose. And then inhale forward, exhale, lower down, chaturanga, just halfway down. Keep looking forward. Inhale, upward facing dog, or if that's too much for you, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And now I'm even going to say it. You can even do full cobra if you want in that pose. But in the back bend of our vinyasa, you want to make sure that your knees are lifted off the yoga mat. Then you can do whatever you want. Up dog, baby cobra, a full-on cobra. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. look forward and lightly hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, drag your chest forward. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. And then root down to rise up. Exhale, Samastitihi. And then bend your knees, drop your booty, inhale, Utkatasana. So feel from the floor up, bring the weight into your heels. You can even lift up your toes, fan them out and relax them back down. Feel your hips reaching a little bit back, but then there's a small tuck to your tail and you're lifting your chest up. Stretch your arms out like you're trying to grow them longer. Sit your hips even lower. Take another full fueling inhale, and with your exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee, let your hips spin open. Be active here on your inhale. So your foot's flexed, you're working. And with your next exhale, tap your right knee to your left elbow, to your right elbow. And then inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your right foot all the way forward in between your thumbs and windmill up, warrior two. Inhale here, and then exhale, reverse that move. Windmill your hands down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long up to the sky. Then bend your knee, let your hips spin open with your foot flexed. So you're trying to reach your left heel to your left buttocks. With your next exhale, bring your left knee to touch your right elbow, then to your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot smack dab in the middle, but between your thumbs and dramatically open up, warrior two. Inhale here, reaching through your fingertips, deep lunge, and with your exhale, rewind. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or whatever, as long as your knees are not touching the yoga mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now maybe get a little bit of a shake going. So it's like you're pulsing your hips, your legs, letting all the soft part of your legs wiggle and jiggle. And then just start small, and you can get a little bigger, but jump your feet together and jump your feet out. So you're jumping in and out, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. So you want to get sweaty, you want to get challenged, you want to get annoyed. It's true. You want to be at this point where you're like, I don't really want to do it, but do it anyways. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then jump your feet in between your hands. In quietly. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. Go low with your hips. One breath here. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, sweet chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee, let your hips spin open, feeling your shoulders square to the mat. With your next exhale, tap your left elbow, tap your right elbow. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your foot all the way forward between your thumbs. Windmill up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And with your exhale, side angle or side angle variation. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, sweet chaturanga. Did I say sweaty chaturanga? Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. With your exhale, bend your knee, let your hips spin open. Inhale here. And then with your exhale, tap your right elbow. And then your left elbow. I mean, you could go for the armpits too. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, come with your foot in between your thumbs, windmill up, warrior two. Ta-da. Inhale reverse your warrior. And then with your exhale, side angle or side angle variation. Inhale, reverse your warrior. That's a little abdominal work. And with your exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let your knees soften, pull your hips up and back. Feel that you can like start to be more and more at home in your downward facing dog. So I think we all got a little bit warmer, a little bit sweatier. Now step your feet together and glide forward and come into plank. Now really feel your plank, and then we're gonna roll to the right, stretching our left arm straight up to the sky and maybe stretching our left leg up as well. If your balance is challenging this morning, you can always take your top foot and bring it just behind your bottom foot so it's like a kickstand. You can even grab onto your left toes and hold your left toes as you're in plank here. I'm just doing it in the air. Same posture. And then come back to center. Now, if you want the money shot here, do a little chaturanga to plank. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Per. You're awesome. And then feet together, roll to the outside edge of your left foot. So the key here is the strength in your posture, right? So lift up your top arm, maybe your top leg. Maybe it's not steady. That's okay. Try to find your steadiness. Maybe even hold on to your toes and stretch your right leg and arm all the way up to the sky. And then smoothly with your exhale, bring your right elbow down to the ground. And then roll to the outside of your right foot. Baby Vasisthasana. Deceptive because it's called baby. We think it's supposed to be easy, but that means you haven't had a baby. They're hard, a lot of hard work. All right, and then come to the other side. So even though you're lower to the ground, there's more of a temptation to go there, right? You've got this. And then come back onto your forearms and reach back to dolphin. What? Crazy. Yeah. Okay. So it's abdominal work. It's hard. Now with make sure your head's not touching the ground. So Brigitte, slide your elbows in a little bit more. And with you're hanging out in dolphin here. We're nearly done. Now just take a gander, which is a funny way of saying a look. Look forward at your fingernails. If you can't see them, squeeze your elbows more together and like look forward. Yeah. Now keep looking forward and just tiptoe your feet closer to your elbows. And then if you want, stretch one leg up to the ceiling. Now keep energetically squeezing your elbows together. Maybe see if you can walk your toe even closer, and then feel free to play with coming into the forearm balance. So letting your kick up your leg, the other leg is extended, landing quietly, and then make your way into child's pose. So maybe you're glowing a little bit, maybe you're just sweating like crazy. Very nice. Let your practice be where you need it to be. So notice how quickly your body can recover. That's part of what we're training for too. We want to train ourselves to get to that breathless moment, that challenge, and then we train so we can get over it quickly as well. All right. Slide your elbows forward and lift up one more time into dolphin pose. So if you want to do a variation, so one of my really good friends who's also a yoga teacher and we always discuss which one's easier, either interlacing your hands and having your hands praying. For some people, this helps them keep their elbows in. I prefer to have my hands going straight forward, but you're welcome to try the alternative. And then extend your legs, tiptoe your feet even closer to your elbows, right, Akiko? And then from there, very nice, stretch the other leg up into the sky. This might be as far as you go today. And I know this is plenty of work, but if you want to play a little bit more, play with lifting up one leg or two, landing quietly and staying rhythmically with your breath even. So instead of having the leg that's extended, like bent, really stretch it long and then kick. Very nice, good control. And you're working on bringing your ribs towards your hip. Yeah, nice there. And everybody meet back up in child's pose. Now, this child's pose compared to the first one we did today could feel more like thank God asana. But you start to notice when you focus on a task, you can actually find that like your, neuroses and your complaints like fade into the background as we put ourselves to task. And then lift up your chest, cross your ankles, roll over onto your crossed ankles. We have time for a lovely little cleansing twist. So roll onto your back. And after hugging both your knees to your chest, extend your left leg and keep pulling your right knee towards your armpit, and then pull your right knee across your body to the left, coming into the twist. So just twist you got it. There you go. Now take a full breath in, and with as much drama as you care for, sigh out your breath. So one of the practices one can take up, I will tell you about when you come to the other side. So pull your knees up to center. And this time stretch your right leg long, your left knee pulling into your armpit, and then take it over. One of the practices is to do everything like it's the most important thing that you're doing. So whether you are, leading a spiritual meditation and doing really like righteous work, or whether you're cleaning the toilet, to work on being absolutely present with whichever task that you bring yourself to. I even extend this to making sure that I do some things during the day that I'm not listening to something or watching something or getting some input, that I really will, like, whether it's washing the dishes or folding laundry or sweeping the kitchen or whatever like menial task, to really just do it without distraction. Just like our yoga practice, that kind of practice actually helps you become more yourself, spending time with yourself. And then roll back to center, or do whatever you need to do to balance and finish your practice. You're welcome to turn off the video now and do another hour session if you want. What ifs? That's what you're thinking, right, Mean? But whatever you need, find a blanket, find the ground. Let the solidness of the earth hold you. With your next inhale, invite your breath to the edges of your beautiful body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe make some faces. With your inhale, stretch your arms above your head, reaching your feet away from your hands. And then with your exhale, curl into a ball and roll onto your side, just hugging your knees to your chest for a couple of breaths here, or a breath or two. Feeling your vitality and your vibrancy. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. And then bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes and just picture all the people that we've been practicing together with this morning, even if we're not in the same room. Empty your breath and let's close with one Om. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And with your exhale, we bow forward together and say, Namaste. And so much love. And allow the floor slapping to be a cleanser for your room and a way to get yourself back so that you're, all set for your day. Thank you so much. And yeah, go out and be awesome.